Myself, Dr. N. Sangeeta Priya, Associate Professor, Department of ACE, Ramachandra College of Engineering, Eluru, Andhra Pradesh. This time I am going to handle the subject Computer Networks for final year ECE students. So before going directly into computer networks, we have to know about what is data communications. So that is the first chapter, Introduction to the Network like Data Communications. Data communications are nothing but means of communication at a distance or exchange of data between two devices via some form of transmission medium such as a wire cable. For data communications to occur, the communicating devices must be part of a communication system made up of a combination of hardware, that is physical equipment, and also software, that is programs. The effectiveness of a data communications system depends on four fundamental characteristics. So before getting into the fundamental characteristics, we are going to discuss about what is a component, what is a data representation, and what do you mean by data flow. So this is 5 components of a data communication. In this diagram, we can see the sender and a receiver is connected with a medium. For example, there are 5 components to be taken care while dealing with data communication. First one is message, second one is sender, third one is receiver, fourth one is transmission medium, and fifth one is most important thing, protocol. So sender and receiver are the one of the 2 components in those 5. They both are connected with the third component, that is physical medium, that is transmission medium. What the sender and receiver is going to communicate, that communication is nothing but message. So as I said before, the important component, protocol, that has to be maintained between receiver and the sender. All those 5 components you can see in the diagram. So what is a message? The message is the information or a data to be communicated. Popular forms of information, for example, text, numbers, pictures, audio, and video. Next, who is meant by a sender? The sender is a device that sends the data message. It can be, example, computer, workstations, telephone handset, video camera, etc. Then who is a receiver? The receiver is the device that receives the message. It can be a computer, workstation, telephone handset, television, and so on. It doesn't mean that sender and receiver should have the same physical component. Fourth component is, what do you mean by transmission medium? The transmission medium is the physical path by which a message travels from sender to the receiver. For example, transmission media include twisted pair cable, coaxial cable, fiber optic cable, and radio waves. The last and the important component is protocol. A protocol is nothing but a set of rules that govern data communications. It represents an agreement between the communicating devices. Without a protocol, 2 devices may be connected but not communicating, just as a person speaking French cannot be understood by a person who is speaking only Japanese. So protocol is should be followed between a sender and the receiver. Next is data flow. Data flow is nothing but a communication between 2 devices, which can be simplex, half duplex or full duplex. As shown in the figure, first one is simplex, second one is half duplex, and third one is full duplex. So let me explain you one by one what is simplex. Concentrate on the first diagram. In simplex mode, the communication is unidirectional. It means as on a one-way street. Only one of the two devices on a link can transmit. The other can only receive. You can see in the diagram. Keyboards and traditional monitors are examples of simplex devices. The keyboard can only introduce input. The monitor can only accept output. The simplex mode can use the entire capacity of the channel to send data in one direction. Next we come to half duplex. That is your second diagram. In half duplex mode, each station can both transmit and receive, but the condition is not at the same time. When one device is sending, the other can only receive. If one device is receiving, the other can send. The half duplex mode is just like one lane road with traffic allowed in both directions. For example, when cars are traveling in one direction, cars going the other way must wait. In a half duplex transmission, the entire capacity of the channel is taken over by whichever of the devices is transmitting at the time. Example, walkie-talkies and citizen band radios. Both can be mentioned as an example for half duplex. The half duplex mode is used in cases where there is no need for communication in both directions at the same time. The entire capacity of the channel can be utilized for each direction. This is about half duplex. Next we come to full duplex, which can also be called as duplex. That is, both stations can transmit and receive simultaneously. You can see the third diagram. The full duplex mode is like a two-way street with traffic flowing in both directions at the same time. In full duplex mode, signals going in one direction share the capacity of the link with signals going in other direction. Signals one direction should share the capacity of the link with the signal coming from other direction. Both should be coincide. This sharing can occur only in two ways. Either the link must contain two physical separate transmission paths, that is one for sending and other for receiving, or the capacity of the channel is divided between signals traveling in both directions. Either physical link separation should be there for transmission and receiver separately, or else capacity of the channel should be divided between the signals traveling in both directions. One physical example I can tell you. Full duplex communication can be a telephone network. When two people are communicating by a telephone line, both can talk and listen at the same time. The full duplex mode is used when communication in both directions is required all the time. The capacity of the channel, however, must be divided between the two directions. This is about the way of communication between two devices. It can be either simplex, half duplex and full duplex depending upon the requirement, we can choose the communication mode. Next, what do you mean by networks? Networks is nothing but it is a set of device. In computer term, we can call it as a nodes connected by a communication links. A node is nothing but a computer, a printer, or any other device capable of sending or receiving the data generated by other nodes on the network, within the network. That we call it as networks. Network is simply to say network is nothing but it is a set of devices connected by a communication link. Regarding the network, we have to know what do you mean by distributed processing, what is network criteria, and what are all the parameters which has been involved in network criteria, physical structures, what are all the network models, categories of networks, and interconnection of networks. One by one we can see what do you mean by distributed processing. So most of the networks will be used for distributed processing, in which a task is divided among multiple computers instead of one single large machine being responsible for all aspects of process. Separate computers handle a subset using personal computer or any workstation to do the process instead of making a single machine to work with more responsibility. So that is distributed processing. This parameter should be involved in any networks. So next is network criteria. The network must be able to meet certain number of criteria. The most important criteria is performance, reliability, and security. What do you mean by performance? Performance can be measured in many ways, including transit time and response time. What do you mean by transit time? It is nothing but amount of time required for a message to travel from one device to the other. Response time is the lapsed time between an enquiry and a response. Enquiry is nothing but questioning, response is nothing but answering. So, what is the time taken for a question to answer? That is response time. The performance of a network depends on a number of factors, including the number of users and the type of transmission medium what we are using, and the capability of the connected hardware, and what is the efficiency of the software. Everything is the important parameter to decide the performance of our network. What do you mean by reliability? In addition to the accuracy of delivery, network reliability is measured by the frequency of failure or the time it takes a link to recover from a failure. Suppose any communication link got failure, it has to be repaired. So what is the time taken to be repaired? That network robustness is essential. Next important parameter to decide about network criteria is security. Network security issues include protecting data from unauthorized access or protecting data from damage and development, and implementing policies and procedures for recovery from breaches and data losses. So these three parameters are very important for deciding a network. Next we come upon physical structures.